Welcome to the Midas Touch Network for the official update on the June 14th No Kings protests. How many protests will be taking place? Where will they be taking place? Where can you find out information about the protests nearest to you? What can you do to help? And any other additional information we're going to be covering here. But June 14th, I believe we're going to see millions of people out there peacefully protesting the Trump regime. I'll go from the nokings.org website right here. It's what it says. In America, we don't do kings. They've defied our courts. They've deported Americans. They've disappeared people off the streets. They've attacked our civil rights and slashed our services. The corruption has gone too far. No thrones, no crowns, no kings. On June 14th, Flag Day, Donald Trump wants tanks in the street and a made-for-TV display of dominance for his birthday, a spectacle meant to look like strength. I think meant to also look like Kim Jong-un's North Korea or Vladimir Putin's Russia. But real power isn't staged in Washington. It rises up everywhere else. No Kings is a nationwide day of defiance, from city blocks to small towns, from courthouse steps to community parks. We're taking action to reject authoritarianism and show the world what democracy really looks like. We're not gathering to feed his ego. We're building a movement that leaves him behind. The flag doesn't belong to Donald Trump. It belongs to us. We're not watching history happen. We're making it happen. On June 14th, we're showing up everywhere he isn't to say no thrones, no crowns, no kings. You could just take a look at the map right here from the nokings.org website. Literally everywhere, pretty much every city is going to be having a major No Kings protest near you. We'll find out more about that in a moment. Also, I think one of the important things here to mention is reclaiming the flag. I think is going to be a big theme as well. I think we're going to see a lot of American flags out there. Ezra Levin, one of the co-executive directors of Indivisible, one of the lead coordinators of the No Kings protests coming up, has also made that a priority as well. And I've been reading about that. Why don't we bring in the co-executive director of Indivisible, one of the lead coordinators of the No Kings protest on June 14th, Ezra Levin. Ezra, it's great to have you here. As I started off from the outset, people want to know what to expect, how many, what's the latest updates that you can provide our audience here.
Look, I think we're going to see a contrast. We're going to see this pathetic, fascistic theatrics in Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump is spending $100 million of your money, of my money, of taxpayer money to put on this bizarre military birthday parade for himself. And while he's doing that in downtown D.C., we are going to see more than 1,800 peaceful, boisterous, empowering, people-powered protests all across the country. You showed that map. You don't see any land in that map. It's just dots. It's everywhere. And yes, look, the flagship events in Philly, there's going to be big events in Chicago and New York City. It's not just going to be in the big cities, though. It's not just in blue states. We're talking Eureka, Montana. We're talking Winnebago, Wisconsin, Homer, Alaska. This is everywhere. If you have to drive more than 30 minutes to find your No Kings Day protest, you are in a particularly remote part of the country. And if you want one nearby, good news. You get to start it. You can register your event. Up until tonight, Wednesday night, we are registering new events, and new ones are coming on the map every hour. When we did the last single day national peaceful protest on Hands Off on April 5th, there were about 3.5 million people at 1,300 events. As I mentioned, more than 1,800 events already with days to go. We're going to see millions and millions of people showing up to say, we don't do kings here.
So Ezra, I'm somebody who's watching this right now, and I say, great, I want to either start my own local protest or I want to join a protest. What do I do? Where do I go? And how do I find out that information?
First of all, thank you. Good. That is the right reaction. What the other side wants, what the authoritarians want, they want you to feel powerless. They want you to think this guy, Donald Trump, he's got all of the cards and there's nothing you can do about it. And if you think that, we've lost already. So the right response to this egregious overreach from Trump and his lackeys is to say, what can I do? Because we know internationally and historically, the thing that works in fighting against authoritarianism, in pushing back, in stopping the autocratic breakthrough is normal, everyday people organizing themselves on the ground. So you should go to nokings.org. You should find your local event. If there is one nearby, awesome. Register for it so people who are organizing it can get a sense of the numbers to expect. But don't stop there. As I mentioned, if you don't have one nearby, sign up to start one. We've got a toolkit. You can do it. These 1,800 events that are all around the globe, they weren't started by me. I'm not the leader of this. There's no national organization that is orchestrating this. They're started by normal, everyday people. These are teachers and IT technicians and nurses and community leaders, or not even community leaders. They're people who see what's going on and say, well, I guess I've got to do something. So don't sit on the sidelines. Either join the local event, start your own, and in the days leading up, don't just attend, spread the word. There's no multi-million-dollar ad buy that's going to tell everybody about this. The way it's going to spread is organically through word of mouth, through your word of mouth. Post to social media, call your grandma, tell your friends, we're all going. This is what we're doing on Saturday, June 14th. We're all going to be there. Build some FOMO. We want people fearing that they're going to miss out. They should be showing up. This is going to be historic.
And look, if for whatever reason you can't physically make it, let other people know as soon as this live stream ends. One of the ways, you can help too, even if you can't be there in person, is to let family members know, friends know, neighbors know. Send them the link to this live stream and tell them about it. That's the way you can help, even if for reasons that are outside of your control, that you can't be at an event. Tell us, Ezra, about the American flag. And that's something that I've seen you emphasize in recent interviews, because, you see Donald Trump hijacking the symbols of democracy and patriotism and turning it into fascism. And I know it's a major effort of this event also to reclaim those symbols.
Look, he wants to look like he owns this country. He wants to look like he owns the American flag. This is happening not just on Donald Trump's 79th birthday. It's happening on Flag Day. It's happening on the 250th anniversary of the forming of the Continental Army, an army that was formed to push back against a mad king. We're not accepting a king now, and we're not accepting some would-be autocrat taking control of the flag, acting as if he is the patriot in this country, as opposed to the guy that is attacking our democratic institutions. I think it is really, really important that we not cede the narrative of patriotism to these would-be monarchs over in Washington, D.C. So I want to see American flags everywhere. I want to see veterans on the stage focus on. I want to see boisterous displays of patriotism in communities all across the country, because we are the source of political power in this country. The people are. Some would-be autocrat, he is weak, he is flailing, he is a lame duck who is unpopular, who is overreaching right now. He's going to look very weak in Washington, D.C. with these little parades that he has going through the streets. We're going to demonstrate to the entire world what American democracy actually looks like, and we shouldn't shy away from that. So I would highly, highly, highly encourage folks, embrace that line of narrative, fly your flag, talk about patriotic values, and talk about the America that you believe in.
What do you say to people who are scared, though, and they feel threatened? And I'm sure you get asked this question a lot by the rhetoric coming out, and they're worried about their safety, but they really want to come out. How do you help people like that, leave their house and show up if maybe they've never even been to a protest before? So what do you say to those people?
I would say, I understand. I think that fear is reasonable. If you're not afraid in this moment, you're probably not paying close attention. Donald Trump is mobilizing the military against protests. His fellow MAGA members are mobilizing their state guard in red states. They are actively trying to spread fear. That's the plan. That is the plan. The way an authoritarian succeeds is not just by cowing ABC News and Paul Weiss Law Firm and Columbia University into submission. That's part of it. The real way that they succeed, though, the final attempt to actually consolidate power doesn't just depend on bullying institution. It depends on bullying Americans, bullying citizens, bullying residents of these communities into submission so that they don't show up. So fear is part of the plan. If you're feeling that, that's intentional from the other side. They understand fear is contagious. That's why they're spreading it. But courage is contagious too. We are showing up. When you stand up, there are 100 other eyes on you, seeing that it is okay, that in fact, it's fine for Americans to share their political beliefs, to show up peacefully in public in support of democracy. The future of the republic depends on you doing this. And that's not just me saying this. These are the experts in authoritarianism, the Timothy Snyders of the world, the Heather Cox Richardsons of the world, the Erica Chenoweths and Maria Steffens, these experts who study how does democracy prevail when authoritarians are menacing. How does it work? Normal people stand up. So if you've never attended these protests before, that's cool. We need you. We want you to be part of this. If you had been at the April 5th protests, what you would have seen at these protests on Hands Off was people's dogs, people's kids, people's grandmas, funny signs, boisterous parades, people dancing, people laughing, people cheering, people singing. This is about supporting people from every walks of life to be part of our democracy and not bowing to some would-be king. If you're nervous about it, I understand that. I would highly encourage you to attend the training that we have tomorrow night, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We've got a training, a pre-mobilization training. Anybody can come, log in. We'll go through what to expect, how to prepare yourself, how to keep safe, and understand what to do if situations don't go exactly the way that we want them to go. What we shouldn't do, though, is bow down in response to the threats we're seeing from the administration. That's what they want. And if we do that, they win.
You know, and we all have each other's backs in this. And I always tell our viewers, you know, we've got your backs. You're part of this broader pro-democracy community. And you think about all the groups that Indivisible is working with, from 5051 to all the incredible unions out there, so many unions that I don't want to forget one by not naming one. You've got the ACLU that you're working with. You've got Move On, you've got all of these incredible organizations, and Demcast, you know, I could probably, the Human Rights Campaign. There's a whole list of every organization at nokings.org. What else can people do to prepare? Ezra, you know, if in terms of thinking about what they bring, I mean, this maybe, should people bring food to these things? Do they pack a bag? Should they make their own signs? You know, what do you tell people about just the logistics of showing up?
Well, let me just say, you are right that this is certainly not the Ezra 11 No Kings Day or the Indivisible No Kings Day. If you look at the No Kings website, there are 150 organizational sponsors from all walks of life: the civil rights groups, the grassroots groups, the racial justice groups, the immigrant rights groups, the good government groups. They're all coming together. And also, the success of this doesn't depend on any big national organizational representation. It depends on normal, everyday people. We had a national convening of Indivisible group leaders. These are just volunteers who have started Indivisible groups around the country. And we had one panel with folks talking about how they started their groups. And I think people who are watching these protests, people who are watching the Musk or Us town halls, or the pressure on Tesla dealerships, or the pressure on Republicans, I think they might think that there's somebody else, some other type of person who is leading this, that there must be a professional politician behind it, or these people have like deep training in community activism. And it really couldn't be further from the truth. On this panel we had of people talking about how they started their groups, one person told a story that could have been told by just about any Indivisible group leader. And it was about going to a protest, seeing that nobody was collecting email addresses, nobody's collecting contact information, and fearing that all that energy would just dissipate. And they went through this internal debate because they didn't think of themselves as an organizer or a leader. They're just some guy who's a member of the community. But in that moment, they decided to take action. They decided, I am going to try to connect people here. And they did. And they started their Indivisible group, and then they started their No Kings Day protest. So the number one thing I would recommend to people is, don't think that somebody else is going to solve this for you. Don't think there's somebody else out there that has specialized knowledge and capabilities that you don't have. You can do it. You can be part of it. And in fact, unless you choose to be part of this, we're not going to have all the people we need in order to successfully push back. So practical advice, attend some trainings, learn the basics of how to promote safety, how to de-escalate, how to come prepared at these events, bring water, bring a snack, make a funny sign, bring your American flag, and prepare to come and have a lot of friends come with you and meet new friends, and understand that no individual march is going to defeat Trumpism or the authoritarians. No individual march is going to suddenly safeguard our democracy. The point of the march is to send a message and to recruit new people into sustained engagement where you are. So let this be your first protest, but not your last. Let this be a first action you take in service of our democracy, but then build from it, connect with your community, and keep on building.
And so the call to action right now, right here, everybody go to nokings.org. Take a look at it. Look for when the trainings are coming up. Look where the protests are that are going to be closest to you. Do your best to put it on your schedule that you're going to attend one of these. We'd love to see you out there. And then also spread the word to as many people as you can, and then tell those people to spread the word. So text message people and email people that you know the No Kings link. Let them all know what's going down on June 14th. And just think, we have almost 5 million subscribers on this YouTube channel. Just think if y'all just told 5 people and they told 5 people what that actually means for our country. Ezra, I'll give you the final word.
Look, in this moment in politics is too important to be left up to the politicians. It depends on all of us. So I really hope people watching this, I don't want you to feel like everything's going to be fine and we don't need to worry about anything. I'm not here to tell you that. Nobody knows what the future holds, but the authoritarians don't either. They're aggressing right now, not out of strength, but out of weakness. They understand that the people are against their policy agenda, that people are against these raids all across the country, that people are against this militarization of our country, and they're worried. They are worried that you are going to organize yourself peacefully. They're worried that you're going to organize your community. They should be worried because there are more of us than there are of them. If we organize, democracy is going to reassert itself. We're going to be holding free and fair elections, and there's going to be a period of accountability that follows the period we're in right now. So I hope to see you out in the streets.
The Quinnipiac poll has Donald Trump's approval as of today at 38%, essentially the lowest ever in the history of the presidency by and large at this time in anybody's term. The Midas Touch Network will have people embedded with the folks over at Indivisible, with 5051, with Move On and other groups. So we're going to be showing all of the clips, and we're going to be using our platform to make sure we're amplifying all the footage of the peaceful protests, while corporate news often takes a different angle on these events, or no angle at all. We're going to be focusing on what truly makes America an amazing place. These peaceful protests are going to be a demonstration of what our country is really about. And Ezra, it's incredible to have you on sharing this knowledge with everybody. And we'll continue our coverage here of the peaceful protests, as always, on the Midas Touch Network. Ezra, thank you. Midas Mighty, thank you. Go to nokings.org right now.
Can't get enough Midas? Check out the Midas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MidasPlus.com.